Hi, Lindsay. It's me, Tony Wright. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to talk to you about your digital marketing, specifically your SEO needs. Um, Today, I'm going to go through a very quick preliminary analysis of what we're seeing on the site. Obviously, it's a new site, so we don't have a lot of data from traffic as far as that goes, but we do have some things that we're seeing on the site, and we have some suggestions. And hopefully, this video will give you a little bit of an idea about how we think and how we would approach this project. What we are proposing is what we call a strategic consulting agreement. And basically, what that is it's a time and materials contract where you agree to purchase a specific number of hours from my team. And that would include the management of your SEO as well as the management of your paid search. We lumped that in because there may be some months where we spend more time on the SEO, some months where we spend more time on the paid search. This allows us flexibility. Also, we will set the priorities and the deliverables each month based upon priority, based upon what happens. The reason we do that is because things change, and actually your goals will change as we start to accomplish things. So we want to make sure we have the flexibility to move to the priorities that are necessary. So we would love to work with you. I would love to. I think that you have a great business that's been around, obviously been around for a long time with a great history with some really, it's great for you to be in there with new blood. We would love to show you what we can do and help you to get more leads and more customers. And we can help with a lot of aspects of your business, not just your SEO. We do act as consultants, and when we're if you want someone who's just waiters that are just going to do what you're just complete tasks, that's not us. We will give you our opinion, but we'll also get everything done. So I appreciate your time again, and I hope you enjoy this video. We've run a preliminary audit of the site utilizing the tool SEMrush. This is a tool we use very frequently, and this is obviously not everything that we would do. It is just to give us kind of a quick snapshot so that we can understand what we're walking into as far as the site goes. We've crawled 200 pages, which is all of the pages of the site, and there are quite a few errors on the site. Now, this is very, very common. It doesn't mean your developer did a bad job. It just means that your developer probably doesn't know SEO very well to have these errors. But there are a few. Let's talk about errors just so you can understand this. You have a total score of 79%, which is okay. That means that 79% of the things are right. So you're definitely in the passing grade, but there's a lot of room for improvement, and we need to get there. So you have errors here. Errors are things that we know will need to be fixed. In most cases, they are things that are wrong on the site. Warnings are things that we need to look at, may or may not be items that make an impact depending upon the site. And notices are kind of more the same thing, just things we need to look at to see where they are. But let's take a quick look. The top issues. I'm going to take a look at the top issues. The 45 pages returning 400 status. That means you've got some broken pages, and we've got 43 internal links. I would imagine these numbers are very similar, so that's probably the same type of thing. We have some issues with duplicate title tags. That just means that the title tag is the most important real estate on your site, arguably, for SEO. That's what your headline is in a Google snippet. When you do a search and you see the headline, the title tag is what that is. So we need to fix that because Google, it's not a best practice to have duplicates. And we can go in and look at each one of these. There are some issues with duplicate title tag. All of these things that are broken. We need to fix. As far as warnings go, we've got some things with JavaScript. We'll get into that. That's basically has to do with your site speed. We do have some issues with alt attributes, and that's something we do need to watch because we need to be ADA compliant. Alt images is just a description of what each image is. And that's search engines use that, but also it's used for screen readers for anyone who is visually impaired. And it's for a B2B business like yours, it may not be as high priority, but There are a bunch of people out there that are looking for websites that are not ADA compliant, where that have some money, and they're kind of trolls that are suing these folks because technically you really do need to have your site ADA compliant. And so we want to make sure that we're at least addressing that to an extent. Some sites don't have meta descriptions, not a huge deal, it needs to be done. Got some pages that are what's called low text to HTML ratio. That just means that the pages may or may not be too short, not enough content. And I think content is a big deal. You've got, obviously some pages with very low word counts as well. No H1 headings. H1 is a title on a page. So we do have some things that need to be going. You don't have an XML sitemap. That's a sitemap that Google can crawl independently. So all of these things are things that would be fixed very quickly, usually within the first month or two. Then we move to off-page. I'm going to send you a video that talks about our SEO philosophy within this proposal, so you can see kind of a little bit about how we think there as far as what we call the 5 C's. But we do need to make sure that we have all of these things done in order to rank. It's not going to make you rank, but it could keep you from ranking not having these items fixed. This is Google's Page Speed Insight tool. This gives us a glimpse into how fast your site is loading. Page speed is a big factor for ranking. This is not the only test that we will use once we get started, but it is what Google gives us, and it's a pretty good test for just kind of seeing a snapshot. You'll see here I'm looking at, and you can actually go and just go to Google and type in Page Speed Insights, and you'll get to this tool, and you can do this test yourself. From a mobile standpoint, and this is what we're looking at as far as mobile right here, you're scoring a 26 out of 100, which by any measure is poor. The site is not loading very fast. It's actually taking 3.7 seconds before they can even see anything, 10.7 seconds before they can actually do anything, which is what we call the first meaningful paint. And then total time, it actually takes 10.7 seconds totally for it to be fully loaded. You can see here, this is kind of what the user is seeing before it loads. It takes quite a while to get to a point where a user can do anything. Right now, I just looked at your analytics, you have about 27 so far. We've only got a month's worth of data, but 27% of your visitors are coming from mobile. I expect that number is going to increase as you get more data. Most of the sites that we're working with are seeing about a 50% mobile traffic, and that is regardless of demographic. Everyone is utilizing their mobile devices to access websites when they're doing research. So you definitely want to get this fixed, and we'll get this fixed right away if you work with us. Let's go ahead and look, and we'll switch over to desktop. You can see you have a better score here. You have an 81. Still not where we need it to be. We need it to be above a 90. If not higher than that. Frequently we can get it higher than that, but it is quite a bit faster in loading. It's 1.1 seconds before someone can see something. So it's not bad, but it does need to be improved, and we can improve that pretty quickly with just some technical fixes, as we talked about in the audit portion, the SEMrush audit. There's obviously a lot of things. Too many things are loading. And Google gives us some things that are problems. You've got some texts that isn't loading properly. You've got way too many requests that means any, plugins and some things, way too much stuff is loading in the background. So we can fix this very easily, both on the mobile and the desktop. But we need to get it done because it is going to affect you long term from a ranking standpoint. Take a quick look at your analytics. We don't have a ton of data here, so I'm not going to spend too much time. And frankly, in analytics, we can run down a rabbit hole and get into a lot of different things. But this is kind of your overview. Now, what I've done here, you can see I've created one for all users, and then I've also wanted to look at your mobile users just to see how things are going on the mobile side. Like I said, 26% of the traffic is coming from mobile. Most of the site is coming in from a direct direct acquisition. So that means they're typing something into the URL to find you, which is to be expected on a site of this age. You just don't have enough. You're not getting crawled well enough and ranking well enough to show up for anything. But you do have some search. Obviously, desktop is doing better than mobile with 17 visitors total so far from search engines. Your referrals are a little bit low for what I would think you need. People aren't referring to you, and then you have just a couple of visits from social, a very, very few. So this is all things that you can kind of see where we are. Your bounce rate is okay. 44% is not bad. I mean, bounce rate is when someone comes in and immediately leaves from the site. 44% of the people are immediately leaving. That means they're not finding what they're looking for. But on mobile, you can see that's a lot higher, and that has to do with how your mobile site is done. The biggest thing I wanted to go over, you don't have analytics set up completely. We don't have any goals. We need to be, and this is something that we will do. Every single person in our organization, with the exception of the accounting team, is Google Analytics certified. We are huge Google Analytics geeks, and we will make sure that your Google Analytics is set up to track everything. We know that because we don't do long-term contracts, if we can't show you the value of what we do, we get fired. And the way we show you the value is by showing you what Google Analytics is showing, and so showing you that obviously you're going to see that in the number of leads that are coming in as we increase that. So you'll see it anecdotally, but we want to be able to prove to you that our efforts and the efforts that we're doing are what's driving leads, and that you are making money on the services that we're providing. So we will set up your Google Analytics, and we'll set it up and work with you to set up dashboards for the way that you can see them. But you can kind of just see, I'm not going to go too deep into this, but we do need to set up goals. There are a bunch of other things that need to be done in your analytics that we will do in the very first phase of this program. And we'll be watching your analytics very, very closely. Wanted to take a quick look at the site itself. I really like this site, actually. It works pretty well. There are a few things, and I'm just looking at the desktop version. There are a few things that I would definitely change, but we do have this huge graphic, which is everybody's doing this. The problem, you've got safe and effective specialty chemical products. That's okay. I would like to see a little bit of a stronger, unique selling proposition when people are getting here. You got to think this site probably, for the most part, has always served as mostly a brochure for your salespeople to send people to show you guys have legitimacy. If we're going to move to this being a lead generation tool, we need to do a little bit more on the site. The biggest thing, you've got the phone number up here. I would actually make this, frankly, bigger. The Contact Us button is right there. That may be a little bit weird. And if I click on that, I go to this form. We really need a form on the home page. We need something, especially in a B2B business, we need a place where people can fill out a form as opposed to calling you. I highly recommend implementing chat on this site. The graphics are good. The website looks really good. I like how it flows for the most part, but we're not hitting our unique selling proposition up here. We need to, and we're not giving people an opportunity to contact you. And we're not, I think we need to talk a little bit more about maybe some of the products that you have on this homepage so people don't have to actually go in and hit the products pages. And you've got these product pages. This looks like an e-commerce site, and you've got the quote cart here going on. I think that I question. I want to see how this works, but and see what happens. If I'm going to check out here, and obviously I can't buy this, and I have to get the quote. It's an interesting way to do it. I've not seen this particular model before, so I'm interested to see. And we need to get analytics set up to see how that's working, because basically it looks like you're running an e-commerce site, but there's no true e-commerce. So it'll be interesting to see how that works. And I don't think that it won't. I don't know that and why are we not giving the quote right away? So there are a few things that I have some questions around on how this site works. But there are just a few things that we would change. I think that you need to be able to have essentially you can get quotes, and that's great, and you get quotes from people that know who you are, but a lot of times you're going to be getting leads, and the leads are going to be coming in to the website, not just a quote. So we need to shift towards that. Getting some forms on here is a little bit more strong calls to action. I'm not sure how having LinkedIn here is. And there's just little things we don't need. Why do we need LinkedIn there? And you don't have any other social sharing, etc. That this whole thing is kind of a mess, but we'll get that fixed. Those are items that I'm seeing on the website. Again, I want to thank you for giving us the opportunity to do this preliminary analysis and bid on your site. We would love to work with you. If you have any questions about this proposal or anything about us, please don't hesitate to reach out. I'm here. That's what I'm here for. That's my job. We are ready to get started right away. So if you are ready to go, just click the approve button and sign this proposal electronically. We'll schedule a kickoff call and we'll get going and get you some rankings and some traffic and some leads. I appreciate it, and I look forward to working with you.